What is going on, my friends? Fox here, FXRC. I got my latest build here today. It is the Axial SCX10 3. Truck that I definitely wanted to be doing for a while. I'm glad I finally did. I know I always kind of say that. But I guess one of the things, probably one of the more majority of the things that makes this Axial SCX10 3 special is these VITAVON 7075 aluminum axles. Look at those. Look very, very nice. And definitely, it was a whole package. Actually, it came with the VITAVON shock mounts, as well as all of the brass on the inside, the diff covers, as well as the steering knuckles and all that. It was all brass, and it was an entire package, front and rear, all the brass with the panhard as well as the aluminum shock mounts. And I want to say it was around $450 US, I guess. So definitely very nice looking. I had super high hopes. And I guess as far as, like, I don't want to start rambling on about the actual quality of every single little thing, and I will cover that at the end. There was definitely a huge ordeal, I guess, or with the actual aftermarket parts for this anyway, at least some of them. So as far as just going over what is the truck and what I did, and then after all that, I could explain in detail some of the issues I had. So anyway, I definitely had a look in mind when I was going with this truck. I knew kind of what I kind of wanted to do, especially I knew the color, anodized color of the axles, and I kind of knew what I wanted the Jeep to look like, that classic kind of red Jeep look, and then obviously that's kind of what I did. So this is a metallic red, and it's a PS15 by Tamiya, and I have it backed with a silver. Just kind of give it that nice dark but not too dark kind of look. So I could have made it probably a little bit darker if I backed it with black, but I think it came out really killer. So as for wheels, I went with these SSD aluminum B-locks. Obviously it blacked out, and I want to say it's the third or fourth set I've gotten now, and they've been working out pretty nice for me. The offset on them is not very much, and I actually have been having to use the SLW hubs, the 450s, just to get the clearance on a lot of the brass and stuff like that. If you didn't have that brass in there, they probably would be fine, but definitely need a little bit more clearance than the SSDs give you with those. But still, it looks really nice, and it's nice that the SSD are compatible with the Vanquish. So the Vanquish SLW hubs are really nice because they're inset, so it just makes it a lot easier. So anyway, and I guess as far as the outside, that's about it. Besides these very nice looking VITAVON axles, that's about it. I'm not. There's some stuff like you know, these sliders. I'm not really crazy about them. I mean, they'll do the trick and stuff, but I'm definitely probably gonna upgrade that, as well as the you know, the sliders and the bumpers are definitely something I will continue to modify. But besides those things, this truck should be right about where I want it. So it was looking so nice, I figured I'd show it now, and you know, I'll show it again once I get those other parts. So anyway, and that's pretty much it for, I guess, the outside. Axle really did a nice job on the body on this thing. You really get a lot of your value in it, because it is just a very nice, very intricate body. It's got a lot of these little molded pieces that go onto it, all the fenders, the doors, and the mirrors, and the wiper, all that stuff. It's a very, very intricate, as well as the whole body mounting system is just a very well thought out body, and I definitely like it. It's one of the nicer bodies, the kit bodies for sure. So, and that's about it. So as always, I will get you over it. We'll get you inside and get the body off and go over everything I have into this build so far. So look at that. Look at those shocks on there, huh? The color matching. That is nice. Alright, I'll get you in there. Alright, and here's all the good stuff anyway. And I guess as normal, I will start out with the electronics I chose. I went with a Castle Mamba X ESC. Definitely probably one of my go-to ESCs for these crawlers. Just being centered and just such a absolutely programmable and very capable ESC. Especially for these crawlers. It's just an amazing ESC. And then I paired that with a Holmes Hobby Polar Pro. You kind of see it in there because on the other way, got that cover. So a Holmes Hobby Polar Pro. This is a V2 and it's a 2700 kV. Hopefully it's enough kV for this truck, but we will see. And very, very nice. Holmes Hobby just makes absolutely killer motors. My absolute favorite crawler motors for sure. And then I got a Reese 555. And this thing does, the axle just does such a good job with the kind of hiding and covering up with all these scale parts, even though I guess you can't really see them because they're under the body, so they still kind of make it scale anyway, but it's all very molded. But this 555 fits right in there, absolutely perfect. No, it just fits right in there like a glove, so very nice. And then for my dig servo, I have a Reese 99 Micro. I did not run the 2-speed on this. I just don't think it's enough gear change for me to want to run it, but we'll see. Maybe, who knows, in the future. You can always change it if you want. I don't have the digs. I don't have it hooked up right here, as you can see, but it's because I'm still in the process of programming it. So you don't want to have that hooked up when you're setting it all up. Alright, and then I got this on my Futaba 4 p.m. That's just kind of why I left this mostly unscrewed, so you can see inside there. I got my Futaba 4 p.m. and it's all kind of stuffed into that little tiny box there. And it's a pretty nice little receiver box. It's very waterproof. It's got all the seals and stuff, so it should hold out water pretty well, I would hope. So we will see. I want to try and put this back on. And I guess that is it for electronics. And then we can kind of go into some of the other stuff here. So as far as the kit went, you know, it went together pretty well. Axle kind of knows what they're doing with these kits and stuff. They got it down pretty good. And then when I finally did kind of get it all put together, I did kind of think that the actual flex of the chassis was quite a bit. You know, I wasn't really a big fan of it's a two-piece well, it's a 4-piece chassis, because most chassis would be 2 pieces each rail. This is a 4-piece where it has the 2 rails over here, and they kind of slide in and out of each other. So and then it's almost like a jigsaw puzzle in a way. I mean, because you got to slide the rails in together, and then you got to put the side rails on, and then you got to put the center plate up, and then you got to screw it in with the side rails. It's just getting all that lined up is kind of tricky. Yeah, definitely one of the more difficult that I've done anyway, for sure. Just kind of, you know, it just made it a pain in the butt. And then there was some other parts too, so that I added that kind of made it a little bit more tricky too. So I do have this Club 5 skid plate there, aluminum skid plate. You know, Club 5, I've been seeing a lot of it. You know, I know they do a lot of crawler stuff like that, and I've always wanted to get something from them to see. And you know, I'm super impressed with the quality. It's very, very nice. It definitely has like that Vanquish finish, anodized finish to it, like that almost soft anodizing in a way. That's what it kind of seems like to me anyway. So it's very, very nice finish to it. So the difference with this, besides being aluminum to opposed to the stock, is all your upper shock mounts here, right there. On the stock ones, these pieces actually come right out, whereas this one on the aftermarket piece, they're all attached in. They're all attached to the actual skid plate, meaning that it makes it a pain in the butt, because if you want to take out this part of the upper link, you have to literally drop that whole center skid plate to even get to that screw, which is on the inside over here. So a little tricky, but I mean, what are you gonna do? So like I said, that's kind of how everything kind of went with this build. Everything is, you know, it's a little, the transmission even is a lot of gears. You really got to pay attention to which gear is going where. If you want it all to line up really nice and work good, you got to really, you know, count the teeth of the gears, and because like I said, there's quite a few. One, because it has a 2-speed, and then with the dig, so it's definitely very intricate. But it's a nice design. The motor's definitely very, very forward, although it is high, and that is kind of why I went with this is a 540 size motor. There is enough room, I think, to get a 550 size motor in there, but because of the height of the motor, I kind of wanted to, you know, get enough power, but I didn't want to get too much motor either up high. You know, because your servo's there too. So anyway, not that I guess I was being crazy weight conscious, but with the flex of the chassis, after I got it all together and stuff, even with the aluminum skid plate, I really wasn't happy with how much flex was in the actual chassis. So I went back online, and I found these are aluminum. There's a couple of companies. I think Hot Racing makes some of them, but I don't think they make them all. I think Hot Racing makes like the body mounts, which are these are upper braces, I guess. This one's your upper shock brace, I guess, but it's also, if you want to have another body, these are also your body mounts. So, and this is a company, it's KYX. I've seen them kind of, I think maybe even use a couple other names, but it always says KYX on there, and it's a Chinese company, and I've gotten their stuff before, and actually it's really not that bad. It's definitely one of the cheaper companies that make stuff, but surprisingly the parts are really not that bad. You know, for, you know, like I said, the cheapest. Yeah, because like I said, Hot Racing makes this same part right here, and it's, I want to say, probably maybe $8-10 more than what this one actually costs through, you know, going through China and stuff like that. So and just being a brace and stuff, I just didn't see, you know, if it works, then it's great. So, and it does, it definitely stiffened it up. I do still need to get the aluminum, I think, here to really tighten it up all the way, because these two last end piece mounts are both, you know, your rear bumper mount and your front bumper mount are still composite or plastic on this. So it still has a little bit there, but I think if I, you know, do the aluminum on these two, that'll really, really make that one stiff chassis, I would think. Because, I mean, you can almost kind of still see there's still some flex in there, even with the bracing here. I did the rear one here, which is also the KYX aluminum brace, and there's one that goes right underneath here to the battery tray that holds the battery tray on, and then also braces it there. And then there's one that goes across here, and then there's another one that you can't see, but it's your actual servo mount is also aluminum, and it's made by the same company, the KYX, whatever the company that's on it. And you can find their parts on eBay. So, and like I said, as far as like these parts go and their competitors or anybody else that even is making these parts, because there really isn't, I don't think, too many, then definitely they don't make all of them. The quality is right, it's not that bad. It's really, really, you know, fairly nice. So surprisingly nice for as cheap as it is. Anyway, so I mean, that was kind of what, you know, just kind of like I said, to kind of stiffen it up a little bit, but because I am going to be doing the sliders as well as probably, you know, some bumpers. If I can find some that I like, I will also be doing the actual bumper mounts too. I know that the same company makes one for the rear. I haven't been able to really find one for the front, but I don't think the front's as important because the rear actually has the actual body mounts attached here, the body mounting system to it. So whereas the fronts are just screwed on, so I don't know if I can just use any for that. But anyway, moving on to the cool side, or the underside, because I think that's about it for how awesome on this side is. Ta-da! The cool side. Look at that. So obviously I mentioned I have the beautiful aluminum here, Club 5 Racing aluminum skid plate. Very smooth, very nice. I don't think it's actually any higher than the stock one, like giving you any kind of more clearance, but it's aluminum and it's nice. So I do have some incision drive shafts, and these are for the SCX10 1 and the SCX10 2, not for this one. They're definitely a little bit too long. They work and they don't bind up at all, but they're very close to being a little bit too long. So I might look into something else and use these for somewhere else. I just love these incision drive shafts so much that I you know, if I can use them, I'd love to use them because they're just such a nice drive shaft. But like I said, they're maybe a little bit too long, but because there's absolutely no binding at all, and it doesn't where I won't have to modify them at all to get them to work fine, I might leave them because like I do like them a lot. So and then obviously I have these absolutely beautiful VITAVON aluminum 7075 aluminum axles, and so rear as well as the front. And then it comes with all of these brass. So it's got the brass steering, the brass outer portal cover, the brass cover here in the front, the diff cover, and then same in the rear, as well as the brass outer portal cover in the rear. The design's a little different than maybe some of the other companies, I guess, that do it. It's kind of a bulky design in a way. I wouldn't want this too far out from, I wouldn't want my tire too far out from this, because I feel like, I don't know, it's definitely a down low weight. It definitely puts a lot of the weight to as low as possible, but it's a definitely different design than some of the other ones I've seen for sure, which are more, I want to say flatter, but just more kind of trying to hug the tire in a way, whereas these are just kind of there. So it's just something, I guess, to consider. Anyway, and besides the beautiful axles and all the brass that comes with it, that is about, the set actually came with the VITAVON aluminum, I believe these are 7075 also, shock mounts. So on all four corners you see that beautiful VITAVON shock mount there. So, and that is very, very nice. And like I said, the whole package, as well as the aluminum panhard mount also, which is actually very, very important. I'm surprised at how thin the actual panhard are. Look at how tiny that thing is. And they got it kind of up in there pretty just right. But the way everything is, and there's literally no hitting. You can actually, I mean, go all the way down to the bottom of these shocks, and nothing hits until you get all the way down. So I mean, it's a really nice design on axle, because obviously all the aftermarket parts are all just kind of copying the axles already designed. So they really did a good job, I gotta say. I mean, on the actual vehicle itself, even all of these, all your wheel wells are all that nice hard plastic wheel wells. Obviously not as light as Lexan, but way more durable and very nice. Ready for the rock lights. Probably should have had some covers on here, but you know, what are you gonna do? It wouldn't be that hard to cover them up if you really wanted to stop anything from getting in that way. And really, that is, I think, about it for all of the, oh yes, that's right, beautiful shocks. These are the team associated, I think these are like the Element Enduro or the SMT, or one of those Element team associated Element shocks. And I've wanted some of these, so I was they're always usually sold out actually, but I was finally able to get some, and I thought with the gold color and the gold accents on the actual SSD wheels here, and then it being a red, that whole gold color really goes well with red. I think it's just a good, they complement each other really nice. So I knew that this would be a good truck, but initially I was not planning on, I was going to try to use the actual stock shocks that came with these. And honestly, because I did keep them on I still have them on the Capra, and they're doing okay, with the pen spring mod and stuff. They're doing okay. I am going to switch them out, but so anyway, I was hoping maybe at least initially, you know, try and get some of the money out of the kit, you know, and I thought maybe I'd try to use them, but all three of them were really good, except for one I couldn't get to stop leaking out of the actual bleeder hole. I even eventually had to just, I put super glue over it to get it to actually stop leaking, but I knew inevitably it wasn't going to be long before that stopped working, and then there would probably, the rest of the shock would leak too. So I don't know why Axle can't make shocks that don't leak. But anyway, I might maybe give them another shot and see if I can maybe get them to work better somehow, and who knows, maybe use them on something else. But for now anyway, I'm super glad I went with these shocks, because I cannot tell you how impressed I am with how nice these team associated shocks are. They are just super nice. They're just so really nice. I don't know what else to say, except where I'm just like, I have not seen a drop of oil coming out of them, so they really hold the oil very nice. You know, and they're not like a terribly expensive either, well, maybe as far as like shocks go, I guess, but I do think I want to say maybe it was like $80 for the whole set, which, I mean, I guess isn't cheap either, but you know, they're working out really nice, and they actually make aluminum shock caps and stuff for them, so as long as they hold up really well and they perform and they don't start leaking and stuff like that, I'll probably even upgrade them even further. So because like I said, I'm just super impressed with how nice they feel, so I'm really eager to see how they work on the trail, so on the rocks and stuff. So definitely think this truck definitely came out nice, you know, or at least I think so. I don't know. This is definitely not a how-to video by any means. If anything, it's probably maybe not what not to do. I don't know, but because I mean, what I was kind of going for here, it wasn't like the ultimate performing truck, or you know, I just wanted a really badass SCX10 3. So I wanted it to look like an SCX10 3. You know, because I mean, you could take the AR45 axles and put them on, you know, some crazy chassis, and you probably have a much better performing RC, much crawler for sure. But I think this is going to perform well for what it is, and like I said, what I was going for was a really badass SCX10 3. So hopefully
hopefully I achieved it. We'll see. Like I said, I still got a few more little things, and then the sliders and the bumpers, and then that's it. I'll be done with this one. I think it'll be right where it needs to be. So anyway, that was it, I guess, for the inside.
Alright guys, so that was the first look of my Axial SCX10 III with VITAVON axles. I did forget to mention that I did go ahead and put Vanquish, or I think maybe Incision overdrive gears in the front, that portal, just to give me a little bit of overdrive. And I think that is about it for all the upgrades that I've done, at least as far as I can remember anyway. But super nice looking truck. I guess the other thing I really want to talk about and now is probably why I have another set of axles here. Now this is also, you know, a rear VITAVON axle, as well as another front here. And when I initially got them, the set that came with the axles and the aluminum shock mounts and stuff, super excited, and I started the build because I had everything I needed. So I went ahead and started the build. And with any crawler build, you always start out with the axles, and as I was getting the axles put together and stuff, and I got the bearings in, and when I went to go ahead with getting this bearing inside there, if you can kind of see and get that bearing in there, it did not want to go in. It just didn't want to go in. It took a lot to get that bearing to go in, and it shouldn't be that hard to really get them to go in there, but eventually with some finagling and some convincing, shall we say, I got the bearing to go in, and then, you know, and I got that outside bearing here to go in there, and then I went ahead to put that pinion gear in there, and it just did not want to line up. So what the problem is this inside bearing here was really kind of just offset a little bit, just enough that once I put the pinion shaft inside, it wasn't lining up with the outside bearing, and so much so that I really had to force it to get to poke all the way through, and then it was so tight that you could barely even turn it, and there was definitely no way I was going to run it like that. So now knowing there was a problem, I went ahead, I went onto eBay, and I contacted the seller, which was VITAVON, and I sent him a message explaining the problem I was having, sending him pictures, and, you know, and just really trying to explain the best of my ability through an email what was going on. Not even 20 minutes later, I got an email back saying that they were so sorry, and that they will send me out a new front axle tomorrow after they test to make sure the bearings fit. So that was an absolutely amazing response. The absolute appropriate, perfect response. It wasn't no, you know what I mean, we'll go ahead, send those ones back, or nothing like that. Just, so sorry, we'll send you out new ones after we make sure they work. So, I mean, what an amazing response. So I'm not telling you this, one, to, you know what I mean, to crap on VITAVON, or somehow, you know, say, you know, bad things about VITAVON, because I've used them before, and I've loved the things I've already gotten from them. You know, and I still liked the axles. Everything was really nice about them, except for that one issue. And stuff happens. I get it. So the value in having really good customer service and standing behind your product, I cannot tell you, it's not priceless, but it's definitely worth quite a bit of just amazingness, because I cannot tell you how many times, you know, if you ever had a problem with an aftermarket part, and you know, you try to contact the company, it doesn't always go so easily. So I was super psyched that they were going to send me out a new one. So knowing that they didn't want you know, obviously they didn't say, you know, send this one back, so I didn't worry about it, what I was going to do to this one. So I figured maybe I'll, you know, break out the Dremel, maybe I can get it to work better. And I Dremeled it out and did the best I can. I'm no machinist, but I mean, you know, I just tried to get it as best I could to at least get the bearing to go in better, and then enough where I could actually get the pinion to go in, but it was still very tight, far too tight for me to want to run. But I figured I could continue the build. When the new one comes in, I'll switch it out. So then I moved on to the rear axle. And it went together great. All the bearings went into the where they're supposed to, and then I got to the outside here, to this outside bearing. And there's two bearings that go. One goes in the bottom here, and there's a bearing that goes in the top. Now in the stock axle kit, you don't get a bearing for up here. They don't use it. So I mean, I guess you don't really need it. Now most aftermarket aluminum axles will have a place that will accommodate that bearing. So I mean, it's nice to have it there. It's a little extra support. So why not? And so when I went to put the bearing in, it wouldn't go in all the way. There's a little machine line where they machined it out, and they just didn't machine it down all the way. Now I knew this was probably a problem I could fix. It just needed to get a little bit out so I can get that bearing all the way in. And like I said, you don't really need that bearing, but I did buy aftermarket axles. I should be able to have all the benefits of the axle itself. So I went ahead and I contacted VITAVON again, sent them pictures, and tried to explain to the best of my ability what the issue I was having. More so because I feel like they should know. They should know the problems, that if there are some. So no more than 20 minutes later, I got another email back saying, we're so sorry, and we will send you out a new rear axle when we send you out the front axle tomorrow. So absolutely amazing response, and it's hard for me to fault VITAVON, for a couple of faulty, things. Like I said, with the rear ones, I probably got, I could fix them. I still have the axle. I could still, probably drill it out and maybe even use it for something else. So, I just think that was just such an amazing response. I'm telling you guys, I didn't want to not say it, 'cause I feel like I should express the experiences I had with whatever products I'm getting for these, just so you guys know. And so 18 days later, my new axle showed up, and I put them on, and they worked very, very well. So the only other issue I had after that was, I don't know, it was hard for me to get the kingpins in on the new axles, not these ones, because these ones, the kingpins went in and everything swerved nicely. On one side, once I tightened up those kingpins, it was very, very tight in the steering. So I had to loosen it, and I might have to do some more finagling, because it's really nice to have that as free and loose as possible. It's nice for the steering. So but besides that, that really wasn't too much of an issue. So for the most part, they're very, very good 70-75 aluminum axles. I want to say, compared to their competitors and the price difference or whatever, because they're probably around the same price as a lot of the other ones. I might wait for another video to do a comparison on the aluminum axles kind of thing, in the quality, because there are some distinct differences, I should say, in say VITAVON from obviously Trio and other companies that make aluminum axles. Vanquish are kind of in a league of their own. They're definitely a lot more expensive, but you're getting a different, Vanquish make very, very nice axles. So I don't think it's fair to compare these to those, but I do think it's fair to compare them to Trio and stuff like that. So I don't know. You guys let me know if you want to see some kind of, axle comparison, aluminum axle comparison. So, in quality and stuff. So anyway, as far as that's kind of why it took so long, because I had to again wait for the new axles, which was like I said, another 18 days for the new ones to come. So anyway, and that's kind of why it took so long to get this truck built. But now that it's done, it's really, really nice. I'm definitely looking forward to getting this thing out. Kind of batting around a few names for her. If you guys have any ideas, I would love to hear your comments on what this truck's name should be. Maybe because it's a VITAVON axles and SCX10 like, I don't know, Vitis X3 maybe, or the Vitis X10 I don't know. But let me know what you guys think. It's definitely a beautiful looking truck. So anyway, axle, SCX10 VITAVON axles, and a load of other hop-ups. A few more to come, but for the most part, it's right there. I wasn't trying to make a crazy long video, but there it is. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I cannot tell you what it means to me. Definitely hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I love reading you guys' comments, and look forward to the next one. Thank you. Bye. Got a quick look at some of the part numbers. We got the SSD B-block wheels there, as well as the Vanquish SLW hubs. I got the axle portal overdrive by Vanquish or VP or Incision. They all make overdrives for that. There's the Club 5 aluminum center skid plate. Let's see, and what else we got here? They have the drive shafts. Like I said, these are not meant for this truck and they're a little long. You might want to look for a different option. All the VITAVON stuff you can get on eBay, as well as all of that KYX stuff is all on eBay. Here is the part number for those team associated shocks.